Now this is one that I'm taking a little bit personally because as everybody knows, me and my wife went through IVF. We went private for our IVF treatment, and as a result, I got a beautiful baby daughter who is now the light of my life, the apple of my eye. Just literally in the space of a day became the most important thing to me ever in my life. Having kids changes you up here, by the way. Like it's like your mind changes. It's so fucking weird. So that's why I am so pissed off about this story. This is probably one of the most disgusting things that the SNP has ever done. Scots women devastated after IVF cancelled because they haven't had COVID jabs. So that's women who are on IVF and with the NHS and might have been on IVF for years at this point, still trying, have had all of their treatment cancelled because they've not been vaccinated. Women learned on Christmas Eve of new rules, which means unless they've had all their COVID jags, I don't know how many we're up to now. I think, is it 4? Is it 4 now? I don't know. Maybe it's increased by the time this video comes out. They will be kicked out of the fertility programme. Women desperate to be mums got their worst ever Christmas present. Their fertility treatment was cancelled because they had not received COVID jags. Some couples heard their chances of becoming parents were in jeopardy on Christmas Eve in phone calls following a Scottish Government policy change. Last night, Scottish Labour's health spokeswoman Jackie Baillie called the move inhumane. And yeah, I'll admit, like, me and Labour do not get on, but Jackie absolutely nailed it. And this is inhumane. This is grotesque. This is absolutely disgusting. She said it is heartbreaking for those couples to have infertility treatment cancelled at the last minute. Of course, I would encourage everyone to get vaccinated as the best protection against the virus, but the rules were confusing at the start, and treating these women in this way is inhumane. The Scottish Government should rethink their position urgently. And they absolutely should. However, governments being what governments are, they will not. They will not. Gemma MacDonald and Hayden Brown, both 25 from Govan, Glasgow, have been trying for a baby for almost 5 years. The couple have a genetic issue, which means they need to have PGD, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, before IVF to ensure that they have a healthy child. The testing they have had to undergo took several years, but in January they were due to sign the consent forms to begin the process and were hopeful this Christmas would have been their last without a child. But now the couple's hopes have been dashed. Gemma, a nursery teacher, said, I spoke to a receptionist who said there were some phone calls being made because if you hadn't been vaccinated, you were no longer eligible to get IVF. 2 people were turned away at reception who were due to have their transfer, the process of removing eggs for fertilisation, that day. They were turned away at the front door without any warning. That's when you come in and it's quite a fucking painful procedure for the women, but basically they go in and literally like suck the eggs out of the ovary, and then they grade the eggs and see which ones are best, and those are the ones that get fertilized. But like, to have them, that's a major step in the IVF process. They came in for their appointment all excited about it, turned away. That's one of the last stages, by the way. It's usually within the next like month and a half that you get the egg implanted into you. That's, yeah, see that, the egg retrieval, that's one of the biggest stages. So these people were possibly a month and a half away from being pregnant. This is I'm laughing, but I am fucking mad. I am fucking furious. Gemma and scaffolder Hayden had decided not to have their COVID jags because in the early days of Scotland's vaccination programme, pregnant women and those hoping to become pregnant were advised against getting jabbed, which they were. Medics believed they did not have enough data to guarantee the safety of mum and baby. Another thing that's really, really curious, stillbirths are spiking all over the place. All over the place. Scotland had 26 in 1 month in a population of 6 million. It's weird, isn't it? Really strange. However, that advice changed with the growing number of pregnant women ending up in hospital and in intensive care. Yeah, of course, like they would still end up in there if they got COVID, but also that still doesn't establish whether or not the vaccine is safe for pregnant women. Gemma said, I had wanted to speak to doctors and nurses face to face about vaccinations to see what was best to do. At the start, the government said we shouldn't get the vaccinations because, as we know, The science is settled. The science is not settled. Today's Thursday. The science has changed, and it will change tomorrow on Friday, and then it will settle again on Saturday, and then on Sunday it will also change. It's just I've got to the point where I don't pay attention anymore. See, 6 years from now, when the science actually is settled, basically that means it doesn't change every week. I'll start paying attention again. I just feel personally there is not enough evidence about what could potentially happen to a baby in 3 or 4 years' time. That's a very good point. Excellent point. I still haven't had the opportunity to discuss that with anyone, and you never will. Do you want to know why? Because they don't know. They don't know. They've no fucking idea. In 3 or 4 years' time, we'll fucking find out. In 3 or 4 years' time, we'll find out, and hopefully, fucking nothing will happen. I still have going through IVF is hard enough without just beginning to see the finishing line and then being thrown back to the start again. It's really hard mentally as well. Yeah, that's I can't imagine what they're going through. That must be extremely fucking rough. I do have a good support network, but to hear about this just a couple of days before Christmas was really upsetting. Yeah, Merry Christmas, you'll never be a mother. Yeah, NHS, SNP. SNP and the NHS, yeah, absolutely. Do no harm. They care about us. They care about us deeply. I had hoped to be pregnant by March or April, but if I have to be vaccinated first, it could be the end of this year rather than the start before it happens. I feel it is a complete breach of our human rights. Yes, it absolutely is, because you fucking pay for the NHS. You pay for it with your taxes. So basically, if there's a service that you have paid for, you've paid for it, then you should get it. If the place takes your money and doesn't give you the service, then that's theft. That literally is theft. You paid for this, so you should get it. Another woman desperate to have a child told how she cried for 2 hours after being delivered the crushing blow on Christmas Eve. The woman and her partner do not wish to be identified, as their families do not know they have received fertility treatment. Some people get a little bit embarrassed about it because, you know, I mean, most of us are men. Yeah, we all understand why we wouldn't want to be out there about fertility treatment, but just so you all know, I wasn't the problem. My sperm's fucking great, man. If I come in a sock and I leave it on the floor next to me when I wake up in the morning, it's out in the garden. That's how strong my boys swim. The couple from Ayrshire. I'm just trying to make jokes about this fucking horrible situation. The couple from Ayrshire have been trying for 3 years to conceive and have been told they have unexplained infertility. That's just where everything looks like it should be working fine, but for some reason there's a problem. They were about to begin a series of injections with implantation expected within the next month. That's, look at all my insider knowledge about IVF. That's when the woman gives herself injections in the stomach. It's to increase her hormones, increase her egg output, and also it makes the lining of the vaginal wall thicken and get very nice and comfortable, ready to accept the embryo. Knowledge. The couple first heard rumours of the policy change on an IVF forum on December 23rd. But it was Christmas Eve before their worst fears were confirmed. She said, I got a call to ask if I had been double vaccinated, and when I said no, they said no one who hadn't been vaccinated was being treated now. I was heartbroken. I just burst into tears. It was so abrupt, there was no discussion about it. Yeah, this just came out of left the field for everyone. The woman, an early years practitioner, had heard from friends that the vaccine had affected their menstrual cycle. That is something that people are also reporting. And also fucking footballers are dropping everywhere like flies. I'm just, look, get the vaccine if you want. You're your own man, you're your own woman. You all have the right to put whatever the hell you want in your body. That is completely up to you. I am not a medical expert. I'm not going to tell you to get it or not. I'm just saying it is your decision. And that is all I will comment on it. She said, I know that doesn't happen to everyone, but when you have fertility issues, it is an added worry. Yeah, I completely agree that it could have an impact on treatment. Going through IVF is already very emotional. A Scottish Government spokeswoman said the COVID-19 vaccines are safe and strongly recommended in pregnancy to reduce the significant risk of COVID-19 to unvaccinated pregnant women and their babies. I can't wait. 8 months, we need to wait for the research to come out. Due to the rising number of COVID-19 cases and concerns about the impact on unvaccinated women, ministers have taken a decision to temporarily, it's not going to be temporary, defer fertility treatment for women who are not fully vaccinated. We continue to review this evidence and will look to review this decision early this year. The latest evidence from the UK obstetric surveillance system and the Mothers and Babies Reducing Risk Through Audits and Confidential Inquiries across the UK shows that unvaccinated pregnant women and their babies have died after admission to hospital with COVID-19, and that 98% of pregnant women in ICU and with COVID-19 are unvaccinated. Now, hold on. Why try to have kids when not going for COVID jabs? Are they trying to kill the new kids before they're born? Is she a COVID denier, or is it stopping her getting the jabs? Shut up, Vanman50. Yeah, I would expect someone with a username like that to come up with a fucking take like that. Shut up. Now, there are other people who have basically, there's been Facebook groups started with all the potential mothers who have been affected by this. Some of them have fertilized embryos, because the way IVF works is like I said, they suck the eggs out of the woman, they get the ones that are good, they put the really good ones, the top grade ones, in a petri dish, and then the husband puts a little present in a jar, they pour it in, leave it, and then they examine the eggs and see the ones that grow into basically they what's called blastosis, which is, this is starting to become a baby now. It achieves blastosis, where you see the egg go like boom, and like it like multiplies in size by 10, and it literally happens in a second. It's quite cool to watch, actually. So basically, that's now technically an embryo that is now ready to get put into the woman and for her to become pregnant. So see how the ones that have hit blastosis, they're ready, they're good to go. They're sitting in a freezer. And these women are told, no, you're not getting the treatment. We're just going to keep your potential children in a freezer. And you're not allowed to get them. You're not allowed to go near them. You're not allowed to have them. And they're also, these women are like, oh my God, we're going to have a baby soon. We're going to have a baby. And then the Scottish government's went, nah, you're not having it. Fucking on Christmas Eve. Right? Because see, this whole, vaccination's a choice. Vaccination's a choice. It's like, oh, just the sheer gaslighting about that. But actually, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's like, I'm going to burn down. It's like me saying, like, give me all of your money or I'll burn your house down. What? I haven't burnt your house down. Like, you've got a choice. I swear to God. But yeah, as far as the Scottish Government, the SNP and the NHS, this is one of the most disgusting, disgraceful things that they have ever done. This is some vile serpent, frankly evil human being, like actual comically evil human being shit. Oh, you won't get the vaccine, you're not allowed to breed. Like, fucking, this is atrocious. Again, people voting for the SNP still. Why? Why are you still voting for these fucking monsters? This is now monster level shit now. The people who put this through, monsters. Absolute monsters. This is disgusting and disgraceful. Like, I'm fortunate enough where we've went like fully private. We're fully private. If I can avoid the NHS, I avoid the NHS. I mean, I get appointments the same fucking day. It's great. But, you know, it's great if you can afford it and all that shit, right? There are some people who don't have the means and therefore are forced to use the NHS, which I completely understand. Things are really fucking shit right now. You can thank the government for that, right? So they have to use the NHS, and these are people who are, oh, we're going to be pregnant next year, or we're going to have a wee baby, and they're going to be loving parents. Because, I mean, like, anyone that's going through IVF is someone that really wants a fucking child, right? They really, really want a fucking child. That's the determination. Because IVF's a fucking rough process, by the way. It's rough, mostly for the women. I'd say it's like 3% rough for the man, 97% rough for the women, right? It's so much worse for the women. So them going through that shit, they really, really want a fucking baby. They really want to be mothers. And then these monsters have just took it away from them. It's honestly, this is just disgusting and vile. Like, I realise I'm making jokes and I'm laughing and shit like that, but it's my response to dealing with horrible situations. I laugh and I make jokes. But this is honestly like truly vile and disgusting. This needs to be absolutely scrapped. I think government as a whole needs to be scrapped, but this will be a good start.